we're less than 2 months away from the election. And I have a lot of opinions. We'll be touching on this a lot in the next 2 months. In fact, we're planning on streaming the presidential debate on Tuesday on social media, on Facebook, on my Facebook page, my X page, and my YouTube page, especially the debate with my two of my friends. We're going to react real time to the debate. But I still believe that even with the polling, even with the surge that Kamala Harris has had in the last 7 to 8 weeks since Joe Biden was taken out of the paint, as the head of the ticket of the Democratic Party, I still believe that right now, sitting here right now, that Donald Trump is still a favorite to become president of the United States, to win the election in November. And here's why. The polling, while the polling does show that Kamala's still ahead, she's ahead in the battleground states. She's ahead nationally by 3%. Some say maybe a little less, some say a little more, but 3%. It's right in the margin of error. The reality is she has not separated herself enough to feel comfortable if you're a Democrat. Nate Silver's numbers came in recently this morning. In fact, bringing it up right now in just a second. Nate Silver, who was one of the pollsters I do trust, actually. And in fact, the numbers he has here, I'm going to bring up just 1 second right here. Here it is. You see on the screen. As of this morning, Kamala Harris now is up by only 2.5% nationally. And that's well within the margin of error. You see the Kennedy numbers are still stagnating, a little lower, but still stagnating for the most part. Pulling at 4%. You see right there on the screen. And that's way too close to comfort. Like, Democrats pretty much have to be ahead by 4 to 5% to really feel like they have a good chance. Because again, everything comes down to the battleground states here. And here's the battleground states now. All the numbers that were a little wider before. Pennsylvania, she's only up by 0.3%. Michigan only up by 1.4%. Georgia up 0.1%, which is actually not bad because Georgia is, even the Democrats didn't win that in 2020. Joe Biden won in 2020. They were down actually by 4 or 5% when Biden was in the race. So they've made some gains there, but that's still too close to comfort for Georgia, if you're a Democrat. North Carolina, he's now Trump is up 1%. Wisconsin, Democrats up 2.2. When I say Democrats, I mean Kamala Harris. Arizona, now Trump is gaining momentum in there, according to the latest polling, up now 2% in Arizona. Nevada is basically a toss-up now, 0.5% for Kamala. Of course, you have Florida and Texas, which really no shot for Kamala win those states anyway. The problem is that the battleground states too close for comfort. Okay, too close for comfort. And here's the thing. That's the bad news for Kamala Harris, in my opinion. Here's the good news, though. Donald Trump is already baked in. Donald Trump is already defined. Okay, Donald Trump, no matter what happens now going forward, is not going to get anything more than 45 to 47, at the most 47% of the electorate. Okay, he's already baked in, so we know where he's at. Okay, he can't honestly at this point do any worse because the people who are for Donald Trump are there and not leaving no matter what. We've seen this already for the last 8 years. He has a very loyal base. Okay, and he's brought on a little bit more folks on the fringes, independents and maybe some soft Democrats frustrated with the party. But he is baked in at 45 to 47%, no matter what. Okay, that's where he's going to be at. That's where he's going to stay at. Okay, Kamala Harris has still more upside, and here's why. There's still a debate coming up on Tuesday. If she does well in the debate on Tuesday, her numbers can explode into the 50s. And once she gets to the 50%, 49-50%, Joe Biden got 51% in the election in 2020. She wins the election. So she has the highest ceiling of the two candidates right now, currently, based on what's to come. But she also has the lowest floor. Because if she bombs at this debate, and I honestly believe this debate here on Tuesday will decide this election, because even if they agree to do more debates down the road, there'll be no other debate that will get as much eyeballs as this one on Tuesday. Okay, you never get more eyeballs than the first time. Remember, the first movie is always better than the sequels. Okay, so Kamala Harris has the upside moving forward, but also the lower floor, because Kamala Harris right now is not defined yet. She's not defined yet. There's a lot of focus on the fringes. There's Democrats in the party who may want to vote for her, won't vote for Trump, but they don't like her issues, her stance with how the administration's handling everything in Gaza. There's also a lot of Democrats who don't like her just because of her history as a DA. There's also a lot of people on the independents who don't like Donald Trump, but would like to vote Kamala Harris, but policy-wise, she's too far to the left. So there's a lot of stuff there that she has to navigate, okay? But again, she has the higher ceiling, in my opinion, but the lowest floor. Donald Trump is defined. We know the hits. Donald Trump, we know what he brings to the table. We know what he's going to say. We know all the hits. We know it, okay? Kamala Harris is the one who has the adjustable potential here. You know, she kills it at the debate on Tuesday. Her numbers go up. Okay, if she doesn't do well on Tuesday, her numbers will go down. Okay, they will go down. So that's why I'm still giving Donald Trump the edge here. That being said, Alan Lichtman, who is a presidential, I think, historian, he's also known as the guru, or how you want to call it, of presidential elections. He has predicted 9 of the last 10 elections accurately. He has this thing. He has the 15 keys that is as to what he establishes as why this person won the election. He's gotten 9 last elections down to a science. He got one wrong, and the one wrong he got was actually the 2000 election where he had Al Gore winning. But of course, you know how that played out. Al Gore did get screwed in that election. I'm going to play this clip from Fox 5, I believe. I don't know where it's come from, but from here on YouTube, Fox 5 Washington, where he was on here. He made the official prediction for this election. Here's a clip.
The breaking development this morning, this in the race for the White House, as the Nostradamus of presidential predictions is out with his
That's what it was.
For who will
He's the Nostradamus of presidential elections.
Win the White House. And he's been right 9 out of the last 10 elections. The local historian making the national news right now, Alan Lichtman, joining us live with his choice and why he made that pick. Always a pleasure to talk to you. We've been waiting for this. We're not going to wait any longer. Let us know what you decided.
You know, my prediction system is unique. And as you said, it's been essentially right for 40 years. I would say 10 of 10, but I'm not going to relitigate 2000 here. And the way it works is it taps into the structure of how elections really work as votes up or down on the strength and performance of the White House party. And if 6 or more of my 13 factors go against the White House party, they're predicted losers. Otherwise, they are predicted winners. And I finally come to my final prediction and concluded that the White House party, the Democrats, now represented by Kamala Harris, would not lose any more than 5 keys. Thus, my prediction is Kamala Harris will be a precedent-breaking president of the United States, the first woman president in U.S. history.
All right, so Alan Lichtman has predicted that Kamala Harris will win the 2024 presidential election here. Again, he has gotten every single election right outside of 2020, but of course, 2020 has very weird, as you guys know, the recount in Florida that year. He would have gotten that right actually because Al Gore did actually win that. Really, but of course, the recount changed all that. So he's gotten every single election correct since 1980. He also predicted Trump to win in 2016 for the record, and Biden to win 2020. Here's the rest of his interview.
Alan, when Kamala Harris took over as the top nominee for the Democrats, we talked about this, and you said at the time you wanted to be adamant that this was, you were not making your pick at that time. You're making your pick now. Did anything change, or was there anything that you were looking at specifically between when Joe Biden was leading the nomination and when Kamala Harris did?
Absolutely. First of all, was the fact that Democrats finally got a spine and got smart and united around Harris. That avoided the loss of the party contest key. They already lost one key, the incumbency key, obviously, but to lose both of them is a near fatal combination. So that made a huge difference. The other thing, I think Harris has had a positive effect on a couple of other keys. I think she contributed to the fizzling of the RFK Jr. campaign, since voters no longer had to choose between 2 old white guys. Hate to say that, being an old white guy myself. And secondly, I think she contributed to the dampening of major protests because Biden, the policymaker, was no longer out front. So those 2 keys, social unrest, third party, and of course, party contest key, were critical keys that turned in favor of the incumbents. And remember, This is a prediction, not an endorsement. I predict about as many Republican as Democratic victories, including Donald Trump in 2016.
Based
As I just mentioned, he predicted Donald Trump to win 2016.
on your own history of predictions, Alan, for this time now, as we're now 2 months out, almost exactly as to the election, could anything change that would impact those keys between now and Election Day?
Not since the Civil War has anything in the last 30 days changed a call. In the Civil War, we had the big Union victories very late. Does that mean it's impossible? No, I'm not so arrogant to say, nothing can change in history. There are two keys that are still very shaky that I've kind of split: the foreign military failure and success keys. It's conceivable, given how fluid wars are, and there
This is a very, very important point here, because this is something that is on the table still between now and November also.
are two wars going on. Both of those keys could flip negative against the Democrats, but that would still, even in that higher scenario for Democrats, leave them down 5 keys, still 1 key short of a predicted defeat. That's why I said they really are in a position to lose a maximum of 5 keys.
Presidential predictor.
Yeah, so so what he means by that also is something war breaks out and is actually happening under the Biden administration, and of course that's definitely on the table, because right now the unrest and right now in Israel and the Middle East right now could be an issue. Obviously, Ukraine and Russia could be an issue too as well. So those are things that are on the table still that could actually hurt Kamala. But to his point though, that still only leaves 1 key still that gives her an advantage, based on his science he does to predict these things. Again, not perfect science, of course. He could be wrong. He was wrong in 2020, 2000 rather. Although 2000 again was a weird situation where Al Gore did win the election, which he predicted back then, but because of the recount Florida and was a whole mess, of course, we have to litigate that now at this point. That's the only one he got quote unquote wrong. But yeah, he has Kamala Harris winning the election again. And as I explained to you guys in the segment, she has the upside. The debate will change. The debate will decide. This debate especially will decide the election. Okay, if she kills this, if she crushes it, and people who are on the fence, Democrats who are on the fence, independents on the fence, and are okay with voting for Kamala Harris, they will do it, and she'll win. Again, Donald Trump is baked in already. He's baked in his numbers. He is going to get He will get between 45 and 47% the electoral popular vote, no matter what. But Kamala has the bigger upside. If she kills it at the debate, she will get close to 50% like Joe Biden did in 2020. But we'll see also. Like I said, those battleground states are way too close to feel comfortable about. And if it's too close, I will, I still think Donald Trump has the edge right now. But we'll see in 48 hours when the debate happens going forward and if that plays out. But anyway, that's